Ms. Lisa, you want to go first?
We're just getting everything ready. I don't have anything for the agenda right now. Cleaning, putting books in, doing all those kind of things, trying to get our schedule out and getting all kinds of new transfers and new students from all over the place. So just getting all that together and getting everything the teachers need to start out, what we're into. The playground, update on it, they said August the 6th. They've had so much rain that everything's been pushed back on schedule, so they said that that would be the 6th when they would get here to be able to do that. So that's all I have, unless there's anything for me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Melissa, you want to go next?
Sure, thank you. We're just preparing, as Ms. Lisa said, for school year to start. Of course, we do start in service this week and Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Just a reminder for us that when school starts on Thursday, August the 8th for the high school, that is just a new 9th grade day only. That is our 9th grade orientation. We'll send that out to parents on School Reach and get that out on social media as well. But just want to remind those parents again that that first full day of school is just for 9th graders, and then all students will be there on Friday. And again, we'll send that out in a couple different ways to make sure parents get that information. And then when we come back for the board meeting, I'll have a list of all of those beginning of the school year dates for you and for those parents for back to school nights and all of those things. But that's all that I have at this time unless you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Stanley.
Work has started on the field for lights. I haven't seen any poles go up yet, but boy, the field is all dug up. So I'm assuming that we're moving along. You know, I'd jump up on the table and, you know, clap if I could, because we are so excited about getting those field lights in. And I know I've harped on it a lot, and I appreciate the boards, you know, Mr. Hall's going through that and getting that started for us. Want to thank Mike Silcox and all of his crew. They have been so good to us this summer about so many things. My husband has commented repeatedly about my flagpole being crooked. That's kind of a, you know, thorn for him. So one day Mike had some of his crew to come up there and they did straighten the pole, so now we don't have to pretend it's Iwo Jima at Veterans Day and put rings up like you're leaning against it, because it is now straight. And they put up a new cord, we have new flags up, so they've done that. They've also been in, we had a whole bunch of the fluorescent light bulbs out, and I do mean a lot. And they came up and took care of that for us and worked on some air conditioning units. So I'm just really, really thankful that we've got such a good maintenance department. Really appreciate them. ASP is now out of the building, and the custodians are kind of getting those rooms back in shape. ASP did a great job this year, I think, of you know, cleaning up after themselves, taking care of the building. So that worked out extremely well. We have a few parents who picked up applications for their pre-K students, but have not turned those back in yet. And we are climbing up in the numbers, so we do need those parents, if there's anybody watching that picked up an application but it's not turned it back in, we really need for them to get those applications back into us. And also just want to mention that, you know, if the money becomes available, we still really, really need that special ed teacher assistant. So, you know, kind of want to keep that out there for everybody if, you know, if the funds do happen to become available. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Cash.
Thank you. Let's got a couple things. First thing, I want to thank Coach Shannon and the board and Mr. Hall, everybody for the parking lot being sealed. They did it first this week, they did last week, and they did a great job. It was wonderful, so thank you there. Janitors are finishing up the halls as we hopefully by tomorrow. All the halls, the maximum will be finished. The middle school football jamboree is going to be Saturday, August the 10th at Sky High. Hope everybody can come out there. As Ms. Rector said earlier, in-service for the teachers starts Thursday the 1st. I look forward to seeing everyone. And then school, first day of school starts back next Thursday the 8th, and at Fairview, school starts at 7:50. So looking forward to seeing everybody. getting excited and getting nervous at the same time. So it's been a long summer and a short summer, so we're getting ready to get back with it and excited to get the school year started. So that's all I have, unless you have anything.
Okay, thank you. Paulette, do you have anything?
Oh, yes. I slept, I was waiting for all these principals. Let me get my little notes up here so I can see what I put down here. We have the pizza bid. We had we had Smart Mouth Pizza at the high school, and there was an issue with the state and on the bid, so we had to rebid, so I rebid that. Same company has it. You should have a copy or have it on the agenda there. It is with Bullseyes, the company, which is Smart Mouth Pizza. They were the only bidders, and of course, I would like to have you all to accept that bid. Head Start contract, I was informed today that some of the teachers was coming in and saying they were going to start August the 12th. I have not heard from Head Start, so I will hear from them between now and the 12th. So it needs to go on the agenda to allow us to go into an agreement with Head Start as we do each year, so I can feed those little Head Start children. Those two things will need to be on the agenda. I had a sub-training last Thursday for sub-cooks, so we had 21 participants, and so I was real thrilled with that. That's more than we've seen in a while. And today we had our managers meeting, so I had all the managers in today. It was about an all-day process, but we got everything trying to line out to get started for the school year. They'll have to do orders as early as tomorrow afternoon, because we have to place those to have those brought in before time to feed the students on the 8th. So we should be ready to go. This Friday on the 2nd, we will have our in-service day. It will be downstairs. I will have our health inspector, Tony Yance, there. Of course, there's things I am required to cover for the state, and I also have a workman's comp guy coming in after lunch to go over safety issues with all of our employees. So hopefully, we can save some accidents along the way. On the 6th, we will have our second in-service day, and we are planning on taking all of them. We're going to take a bus, and we're going to K-Tom's, which is a very large restaurant, food supplier of equipment and so forth, and smallware. They're very impressive. They're in Kodak. These ladies are quite excited, so they will be feeding these ladies lunch, having it catered in. They'll also be giving them a tour that will be going over and a lot of in-service things on different things that they will be able to learn to display, and how to use certain equipment and so forth, and how to clean them properly and certain things to ensure the life of the equipment. So we're looking forward to that day. And then that will get our in-service days in, and we'll all be ready to feed. That's all I have, unless y'all have something for me.
Thank you. Ms. Lynn?
Hey, we've had a lot of trainings these last few days. I know last week, actually the 25th, yeah, we had MAPS training, which is a new program that we're going to be using here instead of STAR. The principals and some of our coaches and several of us that here at the office went to that training. That was last week. And then Monday, this past Monday, we had the new Teacher Luncheon. And TEA did the training for new teachers, and the neat thing about that was they covered so many things on our evaluation rubric that gave them an all-day training on components. The components that they went over, best practices was in the knowledge level, the grouping and motivating students, the thinking, the questioning, and problem solving. And those are some of the hardest components that we try to get across to teachers in ways that they can use that with their students. So they spent the day here SCEA, along with the Scott County Board, provided the luncheon for the new teacher training day, and Oneida provided the breakfast. And we had 4, I guess, of Oneida teachers here that participated with us in that training. So it was a really good day. And then today, our new teachers, we went out to technology, and Miss Sharon, Miss Debbie, and myself, we went over several components that new teachers would need to know to get started for the new year, including we did some Harry Wong videos on the effective teacher, and those are really, really good. And then I put up there on your desk a schedule for in-service training on August the 1st. And as you can see that morning, I do wish you all could come that day, any of you that can. If you've never heard Dr. Dale Henry, you've really missed out. He's just one of a kind. We want that day to be very motivating for our teachers starting back to school, to energize them, rejuvenate them, and he is really good at that. And then that afternoon, Virginia McCoy, she is the TEA attorney, and she's coming for the afternoon session, and we are so fortunate to get her. She's really hard to book to come to an in-service training, and some of the things that she is going to cover is social media, physical interaction with students. She's going to briefly review all the new laws, and the new teacher code of ethics that was updated in summer, I don't know, June, July, somewhere in there, of 2018, that required principals to go over this code of ethics every single year with their teachers. Well, she sent me the copy of it. I've printed it off, and will have it available for teachers on that day of in-service. She will go over all those components, which will keep us from really having to do a whole lot of that, and our teachers can ask questions if need be, and then we can actually use the sign-in that if they were here, then we can use that sign-in to prove that they have had training on that. So she's going to spend quite a while on that new teacher code of ethics. And the only other thing I wanted to mention, on August the 8th is pre-K training. We are required again to have pre-K training on the new basal that they adopted last year with pre-K teachers. So we will be out of technology having that training with the Houghton Mifflin rep. Any questions?
Thank you. Mr. Shoemaker, if you've got anything.
I do have one item for the agenda. The state, through my program, has now started focusing on and wanting us to focus on asthma and asthma education and training for nurses, and also asthma screening. So as part of my goals this year, I included in all 3 of those components. And I've touched base with Children's Hospital. They have a Breathe Easy asthma screening program that they go around to the schools, and they will screen the kids for asthma. And they also do an asthma education little part with them while they're going through the line and while they get them prepared for the screening. With that, I have a packet up there for you that explains the detailed process on how it will go in the county. We will be doing this with our 1st through 8th grade students, and because they have an age limit on where they start, so they start in 1st grade. It is pretty much set up very similar to how we set it up with Mountain Peoples on those faculty and staff vaccinations, but they are in the process of sending me the MOU for you all to look over, but they could not have that ready for me tonight, so I've talked with Mr. Hall. We decided we'll get that out to you this week just as soon as they get that to us. That way you'll have it in plenty enough time to look over. So I ask you to please pass that so we can get those screenings done with our students. And the way we will do this is we'll do it like we do our dental sealants. We will pick 3 schools this year, go in and screen those 3, and then next year come back and screen the others because of where they are so limited on their time, and they're in all the different surrounding areas and all the schedule that they have. Any questions about that? Okay. The other thing that I have, we're about ready to start school. I have, just so you know, made contact with all of our volunteer fire departments where we have a school in their area, and they have graciously agreed again this year to, on the very first day of school, they're going to go out by the schools around 7:15, 7:20, sit with their fire truck near the road, near the entrances with their lights on to kind of help warn everyone in the community the school is back in session, to kind of slow down and be aware of our students and families back out. So if you see them out, say a big thank you to them for their graciously doing that for us. And other than that, just planning everything that we normally get started, like our AED drills and our health screenings and all, just getting all that stuff planned. That's about where we're at right now. So unless you have any questions for me, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything, Mr. Murray?
I have a couple things for the agenda. I need to get approval of the handbook from the board. And unfortunately, I don't have the handbook that I'd like to show the board. They wouldn't even let me keep the proof this year. I had to take it back. I don't know why, but they've assured me that they will be here before August 8th. So when I get those, I'll get back. The next board meeting, when is
Next
that?
Thursday. Mine's the same way. It's, I'm paced with him too.
Yeah, so, but unfortunately, it just takes so long to get it together. And I'd love to have it for you on this work session, but we just can't do it. It's just virtually impossible. And I'd love to show you the cover because it's really cool, but I guess we'll just wait and see it on the 8th or maybe before. And also, if you would, I'd like to have September named as Attendance Awareness Month. That's all I have.
Thank you. Did you have anything, Amanda?
Yes, I did. All right, I have general purpose amendment number 1. Within this, I'm just bringing in money from the Dollar General grant, family resource, coordinated school health, and then also there's money in there for 2 school buses. And then we did get approved for the SRO grant, and that's not in that budget amendment, but I will be sending you out an updated budget amendment as soon as I get that fixed through the state. You'll see that before the next board meeting. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Keeler?
We're just trying to get ready for school to start Friday. Special ed teachers and myself will be at Sky High all day for in-service training. I was talking to some of the principals. We are getting so many calls from parents. We've got a lot of 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds that are coming in. So it's going to be a busy time when school starts to try to get all those children tested and IEP meetings and so on. Wanted to let the board know all my positions are filled. We did get 2 teachers. We've got all of our assistant positions filled, so we're ready to go on that. I do have something for the agenda. I did get information from the state, and I laid that up there. It's got like the blue heading for my discretionary grant. And this is for our progress monitoring tool for our special ed students, so it's no cost to my program or to the board. But if you all would go ahead and approve that. We'll be doing training for that Ames Web instrument once everything, the check gets written and sent to the company. So we'll be training with our special ed teachers. We will be doing CRT training, which is our restraint training with our new teachers and assistants and some of those that we were not able to pick up in May. So we'll be doing that. We haven't gotten that scheduled yet. And to address the request by Ms. Stanley, we will do everything that we can to try to fill that assistant position that we had to alleviate because of the budget. We're just waiting on that carryover to see what that's going to be, if there's going to be enough to carry to pay for those related services for this school year. Right now at Winfield, we do have 2 full-time special ed teachers. We have an assistant. I do have 3 CNAs. We're working on getting another CNA for another student, so that would give us those 4 CNAs. But you know, we will do everything, and I'll meet with Mr. Hall, and we'll sit down and do everything we can to try to fill that position. Do y'all have any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You'll be next.
Just had a quick update on the roof projects at Scott High and at Robbins. We had a pre-bid meeting today. Had 3 contracting companies to come and inspect the roofs. Also, expect to have other people possibly placing bids on that as well. The bids are due at 3 o'clock on August the 9th and to be opened August the 12th. Also wanted to update the handicap road access to Winfield. We did receive 2 quotes on that particular project. However, with this project, it turns out that we may actually have to subcontract the 3 different phases of the project, which includes the ground excavation, the gravel, and then the asphalt. So we sent those back to get them broke down, those quotes, so that we can progress with that project. But it is in the works, and it's an important thing for us to do. I do have a budget amendment to ask the board to consider. Mr. Blakely in May had written successfully a Perkins Reserve grant. This grant was awarded a total of $13,350 to help us implement programs in our CTE program. It'll allow us to begin the process of allocating and spending those funds there. We've been working very hard on getting the textbooks into our schools and making sure that all of our classes have what they need to begin school. And we're wrapping that up, so I think we're getting pretty close to being ready to go in that regard. We're also working to get ready for the in-service training, which is coming up for all CTE and all the teachers, obviously, Thursday and Friday. And then the last thing that I've got is, obviously, has already been mentioned, Mike Silcox and all of his crew have been breaking their backs, if you will, or working at a breakneck pace to make sure that all of the air conditioning units and everything that the schools need to be safe are ready to go. So I do commend those guys on a great job. We're blessed to have them, I'll say that. So unless anyone has any questions for me, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Mr. Bond.
First off, I'd just like to say thank you, Mr. Shannon, for the parking lot, the ceiling and the striping. I've been out there since 2008, and that's the first time that's happened. And we actually managed to fit like 15, 16 cars in the front without, them blocking each other in, so it was pretty good. I do have one item on the agenda, and that's just to continue our computer parts contract with PCS. We're happy with them. They continue to give us great service, so that would be my recommendation. And just as Mr. Shannon said, also with the getting ready for school, we're in every classroom trying to get everybody's stuff put together and working, and I don't know that we'll hit 100%, but we should be pretty close. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Howell.
Thank you. First of all, going over the items for the agenda. We'd like to approve the Children's Health and Maintenance Plan of the CHAMP agreement. We'd also like to continue the contract with the Children's Center of the Cumberlands. And we'd like to approve the second reading for board policies. Policy number 1.406, minutes. Policy 1.804, alcohol and drugs in the workplace. Policy 2.406, surplus property sales. Policy 2.601, fundraising activities. Policy 3.202, emergency preparedness plan. Policy 4.605, graduation requirements. Policy 4.700, testing program. Policy 5.605, staff gifts and solicitations. Policy 6.200, attendance. Policy 6.300, code of conduct. Policy 6.308, bus safety and conduct. Policy 6.506, safety of students from military families. I'd also like to sponsor a table at the Boys and Girls Club for the Hall of Fame banquet, which will be on August the 13th. I think the start time is at 6 p.m., but we will have a table for that. We'd also like to approve the following overnight out-of-state trips. The Alternative School Teachers with a Non-Traditional Educational Program Conference in Franklin, Tennessee, November 11th to 13th. The School Nurse, School Nutrition, Coordinate School Health and Family Resource Center for the Condition for Learning Forum, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, September 15th through 17th. School Nutrition to the SNP Academy, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, September 30th through October 2nd, 2019. The Special Education Supervisor, the Special Ed Conference in Franklin, Tennessee, August 27th to the 30th. Would also like to ask for the board to amend a school calendar. Would like to amend the August 21st, 2019, which is scheduled as an early release day, to make that as a full day for the Scott County Schools, and have no early release in August. I would also like to amend the August 23rd, 2019, which has been scheduled as Fair Day, to an abbreviated day for Scott County Schools. We were told last year that that would change. It has not. So we'd like to amend that day to on August 23rd to an abbreviated day. Would also like to ask the following insurance benefits. If you have questions, you might want to ask Miss Amanda. This is insurance benefits for our non-certified personnel that retires, and we can pay that portion that we pay right now for the up to age 65, if it's 3 years, or age 60 to 65. Is that correct, Miss Amanda?
Yes.
What we're looking at. So she has a breakdown of everything. If you have any questions for her,
Actually,
it's probably in the packet. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to call with that. Also approve the discretionary supplemental grant, funds grant, that I think Mr. Shannon mentioned. Also like to accept the school resource officers grant. And that's all I have for agenda items. So you can see we have a lot on the next month for on our agenda for the regular scheduled board meeting. Reminder, Thursday, a terrific in-service day planned, beginning at 9 o'clock. Dr. Dale Henry will be there. If you get the opportunity and the chance, please come and listen. Dr. Henry is fabulous. And Ms. Keaton had mentioned we also have the lady coming in at the end of the day going over with a TEA with Code of Ethics and everything else that we've got planned for that day. So it'll be a busy day. Terrific in-service plan throughout for our teachers, I should say. First full day of school, August the 8th. We ask the general public to be mindful of our students that are back on the road with the buses in the morning and the afternoons. Please be mindful. Safety is of the utmost importance for our children to get to and from. So we ask the general public please to be aware of our buses on the road. And Ms. Rector also mentioned earlier that Friday, that on August the 8th will be for freshmen only at Scott High School. K through 8 will be a full day on August the 8th. Everyone will be in attendance on Friday, August the 9th for Scott County Schools. So we look forward to a safe, fun, and fabulous school year. Did have a conference call yesterday with the commissioner that we're going to be releasing data. And so I've searched all day and I've missed searching all day. Apparently they didn't release the data. So
No, I got an email, there's a glitch.
okay.
Slightly surprised.
So I'll get ready to call Greg. So Greg come in and find
No, it's not there.
Okay, all right, awesome. Mr. Cash mentioned too that Saturday, August 10th is a jamboree at Scott High School, starting kickoff time at 6 o'clock. Teachers normally start around 5 o'clock at that time. I do know Scott High girls have a soccer jamboree, something on that day also too. Is that the 3rd?
The next.
Hang on.
I know we got a
You
big.
put me on the spot.
So we have several athletic opportunities for people to go out and watch and enjoy here.
No, the 17th.
17th. 17th, okay. Middle school football kickoff, I think, scheduled for the 22nd, regular season. And then the high school kicks off at home, August 23rd, against Cumberland County. Guys, that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions for me.
So much. Okay. Do you have anything?
I think everybody's pretty much back there.
I
I wanted to ask about the AR program. Do we still do the accelerated reader in any of the schools? We're gonna try to do lower grades, K4, is that right?
Before what we've done, yes.
Is that, how come we just won K4? Not, I know we went down was it last year? What was the reason for that?
Well, we took a poll last year as far as the schools who was using it. Several of our schools are not even using it in middle grades. Is that right, Amanda? So that's why we tried to save money by not purchasing it for everybody, the ones that didn't use it.
We didn't purchase for those ones that were using it.
Yes, we did.
Winfield, do you still use it, all the grades?
Yes.
I thought you
They
did.
did, so we purchased.
So, I mean, this year, whether or not, I mean, it's not up to me how many grades we do, but I know there's a lot more in lower grades that use AR than there is in middle school, but if we can and we have money, we could take the poll again, I guess.
I actually called Amanda about that today, we talked about it today, because if it comes to a choice, I'd rather not get it for the kindergarten kids and at least move up to the 5th.
Yes.
Kindergarten kids, you know, I'm not sure they're ready for AR, but our 5th grade definitely can use it. So I talked to Amanda about that today. If that's what we're going to be, you know, limited to those grades, if we're going to exclude the middle school, then I at least would like to have the 5th grade included.
I know Huntsville Middle does not. The elementary does.
We do.
You do.
Yeah.
So it'll be up to Mr. Hall and Miss Amanda, whatever we want to do. I do know we were going to, the discussion's been, we are going to try to keep it for the little grades anyway.
Okay, I was wondering, I know when I taught middle school reading, I really pushed it. I thought it was very beneficial.
They don't, I understand it, they do not.
I just see so much progress
I know.
in reading if they're doing that.
Absolutely.
I think it's one of the best programs we've ever had.
And it's been there since I was the principal
Right.
many, many years ago.
And Miss Amy Jeffers did text me right before the meeting and said she signed up with her mother at the doctor's office, could not be here in time.
Yeah, she got
wanted
that,
to let everybody know that. And we have an 8th grade student at Robbins that has been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is Ben Swan, he's Elmer Hewitt's grandson, and they asked us to remember him in our prayers.
That young man is on our prayer chain. That's Ms. Dias. I just wanted to comment on the reception for new teachers. That was well coordinated, Ms. Linda and Mr. Hall with the SCEA and TEA. It was real nice. And I just thought since the first meeting in August, we don't recognize any volunteers, that the principals may want to bring their new teachers and introduce them at the first board meeting in August, if they'd like to. Just another opportunity, because I didn't catch everybody's name as they were being introduced.
And we've got a good group. It
Yes,
really
it
seems
does.
like a good group this time from the trainings that we've.
And I realize some of them just change places, so they're not really new, but if they'd like to come, the principals may want to do that.
I just want to say I'm really thankful about the SRO grant. I spoke with Ronnie Phillips about that, our sheriff, and we've been kind of ironing out some details on what we're going to do and how we're going to implement that. I've been working with him on that. I hear that Mr. Beatty here has been a big part of getting that grant. I just wonder maybe if he knew some of the details about it, maybe you could share with us.
Well, and I was going to ask Ms. Stevens if she had found out, but one thing that we talked about, and actually was reported at the TSBA Law Institute last week, is that maybe there is a 25% local match requirement that has to come from somewhere other than the school system. Were you able to find out whether or not?
Yes, since the county goes ahead and pays for the 2 SROs that we have, that goes towards the 25%. So the county won't be out any extra money, and neither will the board.
Good. That's what I was hoping for. So
Sheriff, he'd keep his money.
So we're actually able to use some money that the county has been funding, I guess for your position and maybe for one other, for a local match requirement. So, but hopefully that this will lead to, if awarded, keep your fingers crossed, for an SRO for every school.
And we got it?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. We just have to accept
We
the
got
grant, so, good.
That's all I have.
Okay, well, I'd like to apologize to the principals and the new teachers for not being here yesterday. I spent 5 hours in the dental chair. I'd rather been here. And with that, if no one has anything else, you'll go home.
All right.